Take a deep breath. Wherever you are right now, sitting, walking, lying down, let your mind focus on this voice reaching you across a bridge of unseen energy. Because in this very instant, while your heart continues its silent rhythm, something extraordinary is taking shape around you. It isn't a fantasy. It isn't symbolism. There is a living force responding to every syllable you speak, every belief you reinforce, every decree you release into the fabric of existence. And most people, tragically, will never realize they hold this power in their hands. They live entire decades thinking life is something that happens to them, not something that rises from them. But you are not one of those people. Not anymore. You have been guided here because a new chapter of your financial reality is preparing to unfold, and your voice is the key that unlocks what destiny has been keeping in reserve for you. Imagine a vault, not buried underground or protected by steel walls, but a vault composed of potential, wealth, and opportunities aligned to your name. This vault has been waiting for you far longer than you've been aware of its existence. You might believe that money is scarce, that wealth belongs to the few who were lucky or born into privilege, but that belief was installed in you by a world that forgot the ancient laws of creation. Florence Scovel Shinn, a visionary teacher who walked the streets of New York generations ago, rediscovered a truth that had been guarded for centuries by the wise and hidden from those who could misuse it. She taught that the spoken word is not casual communication. It is not empty sound. It is a cosmic command. She understood that every statement leaving your lips sends a directive to the creative intelligence that forms circumstances, opportunities, and your experience of abundance. For a long time, you may have believed that your struggles with money were because of external limitations. Bills that multiply, paychecks that vanish too fast, debts that cling like shadows. You may have felt powerless against the system, the economy, the unpredictability of life. And yet, deep down, something in you has always resisted the idea that scarcity is a permanent destiny. You have felt whispers of possibility, moments when something in your chest told you, there is more for me than this. And that whisper was right. The mistake was never you. The mistake was believing that words are harmless when they are the most potent instrument you've ever possessed. Think about how often you've said things like, money is hard to make. I can't afford that. My finances never improve. Those statements were not observations. They were orders. You were not describing life. You were commanding it. And the universe, precise and obedient, stepped into formation to prove you right. Florence Scovel Shinn explained that the universe does not respond to begging, complaints, or wishes. It responds to certainty. It responds to authority. It responds to spoken truth backed by inner conviction. When you speak with fear, you multiply fear. When you speak with doubt, you reinforce doubt. But when you speak with the consciousness of abundance, the universe reorganizes itself to serve you. Picture a ruler standing before their kingdom. That ruler does not say, please, if it's not too much trouble, could you maybe open the gates? They say, open the gates. And they open. That tone, that spiritual authority, is what unlocks the flow of wealth that has been paused but not denied. You are not here by coincidence or accident. Something within you has grown tired of merely surviving. You are ready to command a new flow of prosperity that supports your dreams rather than suffocates them. Now imagine the air around you responding to the energy of your voice. Imagine every word you speak shaping invisible structures. Opportunities forming, pathways clearing, solutions emerging that once seemed impossible. Money is not an enemy. Abundance is not a privilege granted to strangers. Wealth is a natural energy that moves toward those who welcome it. And your welcome begins with what you dare to declare. Close your eyes for a moment and allow yourself to feel, not imagine, but truly feel, a life where money arrives with ease. Not random luck. Not occasional miracles. A consistent flow that partners with you. A life where every financial decision feels supported, where generosity becomes effortless, where possibilities expand rather than shrink. You wake up each morning without dread, without calculating every expense, without shrinking your desires to fit your bank account. You walk into stores without fear. You help the people you love without worrying about the consequences. You invest in yourself without guilt. You breathe easier because money is no longer a monster but a companion. That life is not fiction. It is not reserved for the chosen few. It exists parallel to your current one, separated only by a shift in how you speak into existence. Florence Scovel Shinn proved to thousands that a decree made with absolute faith can rewrite destinies. Not through struggle, but through alignment. She made it clear, Your voice is creative law. You have already spoken past limitations into existence. Now you will speak wealth into existence. What you are about to learn is not a trick. It is not an affirmation to repeat endlessly. The power you are awakening responds to one decision, one moment, one declaration that is final and irreversible. Before that declaration arrives, your inner world must be prepared. The soil of your beliefs must be ready to receive the seed of abundance. That preparation begins now, with you embracing this truth. Money is not separate from you. Abundance is not foreign to you. Wealth is not outside your reach. It is your divine inheritance. And inheritance is not earned, it is claimed. Today begins the claiming. There is a moment in every life when the old identity can no longer hold the weight of the truth trying to emerge. You can feel this moment approaching like a quiet rumble inside your chest, signaling that your past relationship with money is too small for the person you are becoming. You are shifting from someone who doubts to someone who declares, from someone who hopes to someone who knows. And this shift is not subtle. It is seismic. Because everything surrounding abundance begins with the way you speak about yourself and the world. You are not simply a consumer in the economy. You are a creator in the universe. And creators do not wait for permission to prosper. They speak prosperity into form. Florence Scovel Shinn discovered that the greatest block to wealth is the invisible prison of language. Not the language we use in public, but the internal whispers we allow without question. Every time you have thought, "I am unlucky with money," the universe responded, "As you command." When you said, "I'm always struggling to pay bills," the universe aligned itself to maintain that struggle. But when a person finally stands tall and declares with absolute conviction, "Money comes to me with ease," a new arrangement begins, a rearrangement so transformative that it can feel supernatural. Yet nothing could be more natural. We live in a world built by vibration, and the voice is the most powerful vibration generator you possess. Think about the way people talk about money every day. Listen on the street, in homes, at workplaces. You will hear fear disguised as jokes. "I'm so broke, I need a miracle." You'll hear complaints polished into stories. "Life is expensive, everything gets worse." Without realizing it, they cast spells against their own freedom. Florence Scovel Shinn called these negative decrees, and she warned that they are honored just as faithfully as positive ones. The universe is neutral, like fertile soil. It will grow roses or poison ivy depending on the seeds you command it to nurture. Now visualize yourself stepping out of that collective hypnosis. While others speak scarcity, you will speak sovereignty. While others fear the next bill, you will welcome the arrival of new resources. Each sentence leaving your mouth becomes a bridge toward the version of yourself who never questions whether money will show up. It simply does, because it must. Not by chance. Not by luck. By law. Close your eyes again for a moment and picture a river of wealth flowing toward you. Not a trickle. Not a drop-by-drop experience. A river. Powerful, continuous, unstoppable. Money from opportunities you didn't foresee. Income from ideas that seemed random but were planted by the divine intelligence guiding your path. Support from directions you never even looked before. Feel that current getting closer, stronger, more visible in your life. Feel how different your body becomes when you imagine abundance as the default, not the exception. If your heart beats a little faster right now, it's not just nerves, it's recognition. A part of you has always known that wealth was meant to be your environment, not your fight. You've glimpsed it in your imagination, but imagination is merely the preview of your manifested reality. And now that reality is preparing to move. But there is a step, an energetic shift, that Florence Scovel Shinn insisted upon before speaking any decree of power. That shift is this: you must see yourself as the source, not the seeker. Scarcity lives in the one who chases. Abundance lives in the one who commands. When you speak about money from a place of need, you send a message of separation. "I lack." The universe echoes that back with perfect accuracy. But when your voice vibrates with certainty, "Money responds to me," the universe rearranges everything to uphold that truth. You are stepping into that level of certainty now. Not timidly, but boldly. Say quietly in your mind, and feel the weight of it. "I am no longer the person who struggles with money." Notice how your body reacts. There is a shift, subtle but undeniable. That shift is your wealth identity waking up. And because we are stepping together into this identity, I want you to take a powerful action with me. Look below this video and hit the subscribe button. Not because it's routine. Not because it's what everyone asks. Do it as a declaration that you belong to a community of creators who speak abundance. Tap the like button as a way of saying, I rise. And write one sentence in the comments. A sentence that says you are ready for prosperity to recognize your name. It can be simple. Wealth is my natural state. When you write this publicly, you are not seeking validation. You are activating visibility. The moment your declaration exists where others can witness it, it gains structure in the invisible realm. It becomes an energy others agree with, and agreement multiplies manifestation. You might feel a spark inside as you imagine people reading your comment. That spark is the ego releasing its fear of abundance. Because fear wants you to stay hidden. Fear wants you to remain silent. But you are not silent anymore. You are stepping forward as someone who refuses to apologize for desiring wealth, comfort, generosity, and freedom. Florence Scovel Shinn was a pioneer for this truth at a time when women were expected to be quiet about money. She refused silence. She refused limitation. She spoke and shifted her entire reality. If she did it when the world tried to mute her, you can do it in a world where your voice can reach millions. She paved the way so that you could take the next step. What step is that? Let abundance hear you. Let the universe recognize you. Let your own voice introduce you to the financial destiny you were born to inherit. Lift your chin slightly, let your shoulders relax, and feel the authority rising inside your chest. The authority to say yes to wealth, yes to ease, yes to financial independence, yes to life expanding instead of shrinking. Say silently, but with absolute seriousness. Abundance obeys me. When spoken with conviction, that sentence shakes the unseen architecture around you. It makes limitations dissolve. It calls opportunities forward. It changes the way money sees you, not as someone begging to survive, but as someone qualified to thrive. If this message has already stirred something deep inside you, let me know in the comments what moment hit you the hardest. Share your breakthrough with us. People will read your words and feel hope. You will inspire someone who needed it, just like Florence Scovel Shinn has inspired us. And together, we make wealth a shared experience. You are ready for more. And the more is already coming. Every story of transformation has a turning point. A moment when the individual chooses to stop negotiating with fear and begins conversing with destiny. That is where you are right now. You've spent years collecting evidence that life is hard, that money slips away, that comfort is temporary. You've been trained to expect disappointment and call it realism. But what if realism has been the illusion all along? What if the only real thing is the creative authority that has been inside you since the first breath you ever took? Florence Scovel Shinn taught that every human is an instrument of divine will, and that will expresses itself through the spoken word. When your words align with your highest inheritance, everything you touch begins to shift. Doors appear where walls once stood. People show up who feel like answered prayers. Solutions arrive before problems finish forming. Prosperity isn't a chase anymore. It becomes the natural consequence of your identity. Let your awareness settle on this truth. Abundance has never rejected you. It has only been waiting for you to claim your position. You were never a beggar in the universe. You are always royalty learning how to speak like royalty. Every time you say, things always work out for me, you are remembering who you are. Every time you say, money comes to me with grace, you are stepping into your rightful throne. Abundance is not shocked by you claiming it. Abundance is relieved. It finally hears its rightful commander speaking again. Now consider how life responds when a decision is made with absolute conviction. Not a wish. Not a hope. A decision. When someone says, I'll try, the universe hears uncertainty and pauses. But when someone stands firm and declares, this is my truth now, the universe mobilizes instantly. Florence Scovel Shinn referred to this as divine enforcement. The moment you declare your wealth identity as final, reality starts rearranging itself to uphold that decree. Circumstances bend, timing accelerates, and what once seemed unlikely becomes the new normal. Think of yourself walking through a corridor with thousands of doors. Some lead to scarcity, stress, and limits. Others lead to wealth, opportunity, and joy. You have walked through certain doors for so long that they feel familiar. Even if they hurt you, they are predictable. But the decree you are moving toward will push open the door that leads to everything you've been craving in silence. You will not need to knock twice. That door will open because your voice is the key designed for its lock. Imagine waking up one day and realizing that you're no longer afraid of bills arriving. Imagine seeing a new expense and not feeling panic, but a calm knowing that the money is already on its way. Imagine celebrating every purchase because wealth circulates through you instead of draining from you. That feeling isn't meant to be imagined for long. It's meant to be lived. And the transition is not gradual. It's instantaneous. The moment you decide. Money responds to identity. If you see yourself as someone who barely gets by, you receive just enough to confirm it. If you see yourself as someone destined for overflow, the universe delivers overflow. Wealth isn't a coincidence. It's a match between belief and reality. That is why Florence Scovel Shinn insisted that people stop speaking about what they fear and begin speaking about what they choose. When your declaration becomes stronger than your doubt, wealth bows to your command. Let's take a breath here. A long, slow breath that acknowledges how far you've come just by listening with intention. Many people hear truths like these and dismiss them because they're addicted to struggle. They believe life should be difficult because difficulty feels familiar. But you are not here to repeat the familiar. You are here to experience the extraordinary. Florence didn't change thousands of lives by teaching familiar concepts. She introduced a radical idea. Your life becomes whatever you decree with unwavering certainty. And those who dared to speak boldly witnessed outcomes others called miracles. Although to Florence, they were simply results. Pause and reflect on what your voice has the ability to command. A year from now, your financial reality could be unrecognizable. Not by chance, but because today you decided to speak with authority. Think of the people you love and imagine providing for them without anxiety, without sacrifice, without self-denial. Imagine helping your parents, your children, a friend who's struggling, and feeling joy instead of fear. Abundance makes you generous. Scarcity makes you smaller. You weren't created to shrink. Right now, your mind is adjusting to a new truth. Wealth is not something you chase, it is something you activate. And that activation begins the moment you declare that your word is law. You are building a new vocabulary, one that opens gates instead of closing them. You are learning to use your voice the way Florence Scovel Shinn used hers. As a sculptor uses a chisel, shaping a masterpiece out of what once looked like stone. You are not halfway through a process. You are already in the transformation. The shift began the instant you chose to listen differently. Not with skepticism, but with recognition. Your intuition is nodding. Your soul is leaning forward. This is where life changes. Not slowly, but suddenly. There is a frequency you are rising into, one where wealth arrives before worry appears. One where you no longer ask, can I afford this? But instead say, I choose what aligns with my abundance. Before long, you will see signs, unexpected income, new opportunities, creative ideas, people who carry the keys you need. These signs are not tests. They are confirmations that your decree is already in motion. When they show up, smile and say, thank you. Gratitude is a magnet that multiplies what it acknowledges. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote that gratitude keeps the pipeline of supply unclogged. When you are grateful, abundance flows freely. If this message has been resonating deeply, take a moment to gently tap the like button. Not as obedience, as acknowledgement. I am in alignment with this shift. And if your heart is already imagining the future rushing toward you with gifts in both hands, write a sentence in the comments telling us what wealth will change first in your life. Not someday, but soon. Maybe you'll write, I welcome the flow of abundance now. When others read your boldness, their courage grows. Wealth is amplified when shared. You are standing at the edge of the reality you have always deserved. And all it takes to cross the threshold is one decisive decree. There is a powerful truth that few ever dare to embrace. Transformation is not a process measured by clocks or calendars. It is measured by the intensity of a single moment of conviction. A moment when you step into your divine authority and reality rearranges around the strength of your voice. Florence Scovel Shinn revealed that wealth does not emerge when you slowly convince the universe to favor you. Wealth appears the exact second you speak from the consciousness of someone who is already favored. It is not about waiting for permission. It is about assuming your rightful position as the commander of your circumstances. For too long, the world has taught people to prove their worthiness through effort, exhaustion, and sacrifice. But abundance has nothing to do with how hard you work. It has everything to do with the energy you transmit through your words. Kings and queens do not become royal by labor. They become royal by decree. Look at the world around you. Every invention, every business, every fortune, every movement began first as a spoken idea. Someone said, "This will exist," and the universe responded with resources, opportunities, and connections that align themselves like magnets finding their match. Creation is activated through speech. When you remain silent about your potential sleeps. When you speak boldly about your wealth awakens and begins walking toward you. Florence Scovel Shinn called this the law of the spoken word, a law older than civilization itself. When you speak, the universe listens. And the universe does not ignore a command issued with absolute certainty. Right now, you are standing in a threshold that Florence described as the crossing. It is the instant when your identity shifts from someone waiting for abundance to someone who distributes abundance. You are no longer trying to believe. You are becoming the belief. You are inhabiting the frequency that wealth understands. Money is attracted to confidence. Money follows authority. Money gravitates toward those who expect it, not those who fear they might lose it. The moment you embody this energy, you stop chasing money and money begins chasing you. Think about the countless times you held back your desires because you feared they were unrealistic. Think of the trips you never booked, the dreams you shelved, the versions of yourself you never allowed to exist. Scarcity has stolen experiences from you. Scarcity has made your life smaller than it was meant to be. But scarcity is a lie, a persistent lie that only survives through repetition. When you stop speaking it, it dies. Wealth, on the other hand, becomes stronger every time you acknowledge it. That is why today, you are no longer feeding the lie. You are feeding the truth. You deserve financial freedom, and your voice is the lockpick to that freedom. Place your hand over your heart for a moment and feel the pulse beneath your palm. Each beat is a reminder. You were born with value. You were born with purpose. You were born with the right to prosper. Your worth is not something you earn. Your worth is something you are. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that the greatest spiritual crime is denying your own abundance, because when you deny it, you deny the divine force that created you to thrive. Wealth is not arrogance. Wealth is alignment. When you prosper, the world around you prospers. Generous people do more good when they have more to give. Your life will begin to reflect your words the moment those words become final. Final like a signature. Final like a law. When you speak from your highest identity, your environment will race to keep up. This is not magic. It is universal mechanics. The reality you see today is simply the echo of declarations you made in the past. And you are about to speak a decree with so much power that the future will be forced to rebuild itself to obey your command. You may feel your mind trying to calculate how all this could possibly happen. That is because the mind believes in limitation. The soul knows only expansion. Florence reminded her students that manifestation is not your job. Your job is the decree. The universe handles the logistics. Your voice directs the currents that bring everything into place. Opportunities are not created by logic. They are summoned by alignment. Imagine opening your banking app one morning and seeing numbers that make you smile without hesitation. Imagine living in a home that reflects your identity instead of restricting your dreams. Imagine supporting your passions without waiting for the right moment, or worrying if the cost is too high. Imagine wealth flowing into your life so consistently that generosity becomes your lifestyle, not a rare gesture. These images are not fantasies. They are previews of a reality waiting for your command. Breathe and recognize the shift already forming. You are not listening to these words. You are absorbing them. Your nervous system is recalibrating. Your beliefs are expanding. You are stepping into a life where wealth responds to your call. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote, "Your word is your wand." And a wand does not work halfway. It works instantly when wielded with certainty. You are seconds away from holding that wand with full authority. Now, if you are feeling this awakening inside your chest, if your intuition is rising and your confidence is unfolding like wings, declare your belonging in this movement. Tap the subscribe button below, not as a habit, but as a step of initiation. You are joining a circle of people who use their voice to shape their fortune. Press the like button as a treaty with your future wealth. I accept what is coming. And write in the comments what you will do first when abundance begins showing up effortlessly in your life. Maybe it's paying off something heavy. Maybe it's gifting someone you love. Maybe it's giving yourself a moment of luxury. Whatever you write, let it be a promise to yourself. Your declaration is coming. The moment of command is approaching. And when you speak that sentence with power, your reality will bend. You will not wish for abundance. You will summon it. You will not hope for wealth. You will unleash it. Everything you have endured until now has been preparing you for one defining moment when your voice sets you free. You are closer than ever. Stay here. Stay ready. Wealth is waiting for your command. There comes a moment in every journey when preparation meets destiny, when all the waiting becomes action, when the voice finally claims what the heart has always known it deserved. You have walked through doubt, you have confronted fear, you have released old beliefs that once kept you small. And now your consciousness is aligned, your energy is awake, your authority is undeniable. Florence Scovel Shinn devoted her life to teaching people that true wealth isn't achieved through struggle. It is spoken into existence. Not whispered. Not begged. Declared. There is no force in the universe more potent than the voice of someone who finally remembers who they are. Look at everything that brought you here. Look at the resilience you developed. Look at the dreams that refuse to die no matter how hard circumstances tried to bury them. Look at the vision inside you that insists there must be more to life than survival. That voice within, that persistent knowing, has never been wrong. It has been guiding you to this moment, preparing you to step into abundance in a way that your past self could barely imagine. You do not need to justify why you want wealth. Your desire is the signal that it was meant for you. Place your attention on your breath and feel your awareness expanding. You are no longer the person who once apologized for wanting financial freedom. You are no longer the person who thought wealth belonged to others. You have seen through the illusion that scarcity was ever real. The real world, the one built from spoken law, responds to your confidence. Florence Scovel Shinn often said that the only reason desire exists is because fulfillment is already prepared. So if your heart beats louder when you think of abundance, it's because abundance is already on its way. Imagine your life 1 month from today. You speak differently. You walk differently. You expect good things. You expect surprising income. You expect opportunities that feel like destiny. People begin treating you with new respect because they sense the shift in your energy. You are no longer someone trying to make things happen. You are someone who causes things to happen. There is a calm power in your voice, the power of someone who knows that wealth is inevitable. If your logical mind tries to question how all this will unfold, smile at it and thank it for its concern. But remember, logic does not lead, spirit leads. Logic is allowed to observe and applaud the miracles, but spirit commands them. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote that when you speak from the divine within you, you override limitation. You bypass obstacles. You activate paths that did not exist a moment before you declared them. Your decree is not limited by the systems of the world. Your decree changes the systems of the world. Feel the air around you right now. It responds when your intention sharpens. When you speak next, the world will listen. Keep your spine tall. Let your shoulders relax down. Let your jaw soften. A true commander does not shout. A true commander speaks with quiet certainty, because certainty has nothing to prove. Now listen closely, not just with your ears but with your entire being. You are about to speak a sentence that will finalize everything you have been preparing for. This sentence is a signal, a coded announcement to the universe that the old reality is finished and the new reality begins now. Florence Scovel Shinn described this level of decree as sealed in the substance of spirit, meaning once spoken with conviction, it cannot be undone. You will speak it only once. Only once is required. Breathe deeply. This is the moment. Your voice is law. Your word is creation. Your decree is truth. When you are ready, with calm power and absolute conviction, speak aloud these words. My wealth is commanded by my divine authority, and I now allow abundance to flow freely into every part of my life. Pause. Feel it. That wasn't a hope or a wish. That was a command. A spiritual signature. A line in the sand that marks the end of scarcity and the beginning of overflow. That sentence carries force. It carries identity. It carries the energy of someone who has remembered who they are. There is no need to repeat it. It has been heard. It has been recorded in the invisible archive of universal law. The moment you spoke it, a sequence began, a chain reaction of alignment, attraction, and manifestation that will now unfold with a precision that might surprise you. Opportunities will appear where there were none. Delays will dissolve. Income will arrive through channels you didn't expect. Your relationship with money has already changed. Not gradually, but permanently. From this point forward, speak only as the wealthy speak. Walk only as the wealthy walk. Decide only as the wealthy decide. Because wealth is no longer something you chase, it is something you anchor. You are not waiting for money anymore. Money is already listening for you. Let this truth sink into the deepest part of your identity. You are the source of your abundance, and the world will now reflect what you have spoken. If this moment has awakened something powerful inside you, stay with this community. Press the subscribe button below as a declaration that you are committed to your new financial destiny. Tap the like button as a symbol that you recognize your own transformation. And most importantly, share your breakthrough with us in the comments. Tell us how you felt when you spoke your decree. Tell us what abundance you are ready to welcome. Your story will ignite courage in others who needed this exact message at this exact time. What you have spoken today will echo into every tomorrow. Continue forward with certainty. Continue forward with generosity. Continue forward knowing that prosperity has been activated in your name. Florence Scovel Shinn planted this wisdom so that people like you, bold enough to speak, could finally step into the wealth that has always been your rightful inheritance. Welcome to the reality your voice has chosen. This is just the beginning.